Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's lecture. Tonight we have spiritual medicine. We will find the medicine for our spirituality. So a few announcements. There is things happening at the center, the Sanctuary of Peace. This is an in-person only meditation from Monday through Thursday from 6 to 6:30 in the evening. And also there is a power boost lunchtime meditation. This happens from Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:30, and it's only on Facebook and YouTube. There will also be this weekend a 2-day meditation course, The Invisible World of Truth, and it's an online only course. It will be on Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. So you can invite your friends to come to the center, or you can also, if you want to visit the center, you can come during these times. Thank you. And then we have Sister Rona to give us some wisdom about finding the spiritual medicine.
Good evening, everyone. Maybe we could start with some moments of silence. And in these moments, just reflect on what is illness. This word disease and illness, it is often used, and we all have experiences of illness. And what is the deeper causes of illness? And what could be this spiritual medicine? You can go to any drugstore and get all kinds of medication. You can go to the doctor and get prescriptions for medication. And those are useful if the indication is right. But what would be spiritual medicine? How to use that? And what is why is that needed? What is it that illness that is cured or addressed by spiritual medicine? So take a few moments and some silent and deeper reflect on this. Thank you. Simple common sense tells us that everything has its manual. Everything has a way that it needs to be used. And if it is not used in the way that the manual tells you to use it, then it will malfunction or it will break sooner or later, or at least it will not last as long as it could. And this applies for everything. If you take your television screen and you use it as a roller skating surface, it will not last long. It will get scratches and it will break, it will not function, and it will not function well for the roller skating, and it will also not function well as a television. If you take your cell phone and you use it to stir your soup, your soup will get spoiled and your cell phone will get spoiled because that is not what it is meant for. These are simple and obvious examples, but this is simple common sense understanding that everything has a way to be used. And if it is not used in that way, then everything gets spoiled. Now, one way to understand illness, whatever it is that is ill, has not been used according to its manual. And so if there is physical illness, it means we have not used this body for what it was meant for. We haven't used the body according to the manual. And that is why it breaks down, there is some malfunction, and the lifespan of the body decreases. And at some moment, even it will just stop functioning. We understand this common sense logic, but at the same time, we do not apply it. I have a friend who gets splitting headaches every time she eats bananas. And she can put the clock on it. If she eats bananas, within half an hour, she has headache that lasts the rest of the day. Now, you would think that is simple, no? So you just stop eating bananas, no? What she does is, when she takes the banana, she takes the Tylenol. Now, taking the banana, getting a headache, what is that a sign of? Yeah, so something body is not reacting well with the banana. So it means that is not in the manual of that body, banana. Just a simplified example. But in order to, what should we do to resolve that? Stop eating banana. I mean, don't need to be Einstein to figure that out. But what does she do? She still eats the banana and she takes a painkiller just to suppress the signal that that body is giving her that that is not very good for the body. So in this case, what is the illness? Yeah, still eating it, suppressing the signal. But what is the deeper illness there? Because if you look at it superficially, you say, oh, the illness is this headache. And if the illness is the headache, then of course you take Tylenol or whatever to suppress it or get it out. But is the headache the illness?
Eating the banana, despite the fact that you know it's causing the headache.
Yeah. And what is it that makes her eat the banana even though she knows?
The attachment?
Sorry?
The attachment?
The attachment or the greed?
Greed, yeah.
The greed, is that what you say when there is no self-control over the tongue? So the deeper illness, and I'm giving simple examples so that it is easy to retract and understand. So the real illness is not the headache. The real illness is the lack of self-control, the greed to eat bananas, even though she knows it is not good for the body. So even further, it is a lack of self-control of the tongue, the greed, and inability to see a bigger picture. She sees banana, she wants to eat. She thinks banana, she wants to eat. But in the long run, what will be the consequence of this? Headache, 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 headache. So a part of the illness is her inability to see further than the banana. I want this now. That tomorrow maybe I cannot function properly at work because I have a headache, or I will shout at my children because I have a headache and I am nervous and stressed. She is not seeing that at that moment. But those are consequences of that lack of self-control, that inability to be master of the Mr. Tongue, that greed, that subservience to a craving or I can't find the English word for it. How do you say that? It's like you want to eat, indulgence in food. This subservience to this indulgent tendency. That is the illness. The inability to see a bigger picture and how it influences my behavior, my interactions with others, my ability to concentrate and properly function. That is all consequences in the longer run of this inability to be in control over the tongue. And that illness is not fixed by Tylenol. That illness actually, Tylenol allows it to just grow. Because tomorrow she will eat 2 bananas and just take 2 or 3 tablets of Tylenol. Understand? So to learn to be more wise and see beyond and behind the symptom. And there is always a broader picture. So what is the medicine? we're talking about spiritual medicine. Because these subservience to greed, subservience to these tendencies, lack of self-control, these are issues of the spirit. These are issues of the inner being. These are issues of the soul, not the body. No, it's not the body that has this greed for bananas or sweets, whatever, chocolate, 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 or coffee, coffee, coffee. Can't function without coffee. These are like inner mechanisms where there is lack of self-control. Now, if those are the illnesses, then what is the medicine for that? Determination. Yeah, strength of the inner being, strength of the soul. Where can you get this medicine?
Punishment?
Sorry?
Punishment? Consequence for our actions. If you feel like eating bananas and even in spite of getting headaches, there should be, if there's some consequence for your action, you won't do that.
Yeah. So is that medicine? The headache is a consequence. The pain, is a form of punishment, actually. But in the long run, Tylenol also will have its consequences.
You just have to figure out why you are trying to do this. You're trying to suppress some emotions or suppress something by, eating or by doing something else.
Okay, and you may know it is whatever, something happened and that is why you feel like that, but is that gonna give you determination?
No. You just have to figure out what you really want and deep down your values and things. And, then you can, unless you know yourself and your values, then you will have some clarity.
Mm-hmm. Clarity is good and clarity is useful, but clarity does not yet mean there is power to change it. Because the real medicine would be that you change it. The real medicine or the health, restoring of health would be that there is natural self-control and no lack of self-control. And so the real medicine would be when these habits and tendencies are not dominating my mind and my behavior. That these, in this case, with bananas, cravings, that they are not compulsions, addictions, that one can choose not to eat banana and still feel good. Because that is the problem. Deeper inside, there is this feeling, I need banana to feel good. I need banana to feel content. I need banana to feel, full. I need that sweetness to feel okay.
If you know the consequences, and then you can make some small changes. It's kind of hard to do overnight, so you can put some small steps towards the change, and if you're consistent with that, you'll be able to change.
Let's go to the board. I see Melody is there for the French translation. Melody, if you can just wait a few minutes. Jose just stepped away from the computer. When he comes, let him know. Yeah. Let's go to the board and see how we can further break down this understanding of spiritual medicine. Okay. No, I don't know what is going on. So, excuse me, something is going.
Can we stop the Zoom whiteboard? Thank you.
Jose? Okay, can you see the whiteboard?
Yes.
Yes.
No, it's okay. They can manage now. It is just one moment. Even when we think about health, it is very useful to think broader, no? Even the WHO defines health not just as physical well-being, but also social well-being, mental well-being, spiritual well-being. But of course, also a state of physical well-being. And so if there is the body, Jose, a melody is there for the translation. So if there is the body, this is Susie, we had said. Susie. And a state of well-being is not just defined as physical health, but also well-being in terms of our interactions with our environment, a harmony with others, all that is part of a sense of well-being. And so the same with illness. Illness is not necessarily only defined to the body, although that is what often is very big on our mind. But any mismatch, any disharmony in our interaction with our environment, our approach to the environment, our attitude towards the environment, all of that could be considered an area where there can be disharmony, lack of well-being. And so at some level, that is part of the illness. But where does it all start? Like we started to say in the beginning, everything has its manual. So this body has its manual. And if we use this body for things that were not in the manual, then this body will create, sooner or later, will have problems. And we gave the simplified example of bananas. But also, for example, our interactions with others. Interactions with others, they have their own laws and their own rules and its own manuals. Now, if you are bossy and bullying, that is not in the manual of loving, harmonious relationships. So if you are bossy and bullying, what will happen with your relationships? They will be dysfunctional. If there is money, is another area. If there is lack of money, that is a sign of disharmony. But also, if there is more than enough money, but it is used for things that are not creating harmony, that is a sign that money or your possessions, your resources are not used accurately, efficiently, effectively. And whatever life gives us, if we misuse it, if we abuse it, if we overuse it, or if we underuse it, that is not in the manual for that. Now, I'll give a simple example. When we were young, little children, our grandparents, especially grandfather, on Sundays, all the grandchildren go to grandparents' home. And 1 hour of that Sunday, grandfather would sit with all the children. And we would get our pocket money for the week. Like you get 10 cents that time, 10 cents or whatever, a quarter you get. But before we get lecture. Grandfather will lecture us. And he used to tell us every Sunday, I can remember, he will tell us, this is pocket money, but everything you receive, 1/3 you use for what you need or for your things for the week. 1/3 you save, you put in savings account, and 1/3 you use for, what is it? I'm trying to translate the word he used in English. Like giving benefit, doing good deeds, giving benefit to others. You use that to give back. You have received from what you receive, you should give back, he used to say. So help others with that 1/3. And from small, this is like, and when you are small, you don't want to give no money away. You don't even want to save it. You just want to use it on whatever candy or whatever you want to buy. But he used to train us. This is how there are laws for everything in life, how to deal with things, how to play this game of life. And if you don't know the laws, you break the laws, then sooner or later there will be problems. And money is a big area where people these days, they don't know how to manage money. They don't know how to deal money. And then many times there are so many complaints. And even if people have enough, it is not used effectively. It is not used in a worthwhile way. I remember one time, this was in the Dominican Republic, and some young, in their 20s, a group of youngsters, they went to a restaurant, early 20s. And in one night in the restaurant, they spent $21,000 one night. Anyway, this is an exorbitant amount of money to spend in a restaurant one night for 5 people. But on top of that, in a country where there is so much poverty, in a country where there's so much hunger, and let alone country, we live in a world where there's so much poverty and hunger. In that context, how can you use resources like that? Just because of greed, just because of arrogance, just because of show off. So this is also illness. This is also illness. May not be physical illness at that level, but this is also illness. This is illness of the soul, illness of the spirit. Greed, arrogance, show off, ego. What is this? And this has its repercussions. Sooner or later, if you take from life, take, use and abuse, one day you won't have. You'll have to do without. No? So the spiritual illness, the illness of the being, the illness is in our ignorance of the laws of life, the laws of how to play the game, the laws of how to use and how to interact, how to approach things. It is not just illness or pain of the body, but also illness and pain of the body is a sign that we have used the body for what it wasn't meant for. Because even that, if we use the body for actions of arrogance, actions of greed, anger, if we use the body for lust and for fulfillment of selfish desires or sensual desires, that is not what the body was made for. Body was made for sharing feelings of peace, acts of kindness and goodness. Body was made for smile. Body was not made for anger. You can get angry and have this body in a state of rage, but it diminishes the power of the body. And it makes the body more vulnerable for all kinds of ailments. Am I clear? Now, if we use our hands, you can use your hands to be creative. You can use your hands to make beautiful things. You can use your hand to give comfort. Physically, you can use your hand to cook, but you can also use your hand to hit. Now, what is the most healthy use of this hand? For what actions should we perform it? Should we use this hand? And this is where illness of the being and spiritual medicine comes in. When we start using this hand for violence, violence will come back to us sooner or later. And so the real illness is not, oh, my stomach hurts or my back aches and I need some medication and that's it. There is a much bigger illness going on. And we are not even seeing that illness very often. You want to say anything so far at this moment? Or ask anything? And then we will come to the medicine.
Yeah, mind, body, soul, all are connected. So if there is imbalance, it will affect the body also.
Mhm.
Really nice lecture so far, sister, on spiritual medicine and illness. It's very nice. Thank you.
Jeannie, you want to say anything? I see on your face you're thinking.
It's very clear. I love the way you describe it, and I'm totally getting it.
Okay, so of course there is another dimension to this whole thing that we normally cannot see, and that is that inner being. And we use the image of light, a star or point, a consciousness, the one who is thinking, the invisible experiencer, the soul. And it is at this level where our wisdom is. The wisdom to use all of this is here. It is the soul that makes the body move. It is the soul that uses the eyes to see. It is the soul that uses this mouth to speak or to eat bananas. A corpse doesn't say, I want bananas, let me eat bananas. It is the soul using the body in that way, in a benevolent way, in a way according to the laws and the regulations and the manual, or it is the soul that uses it in the opposite way to fill some inner need or some perceived a lack. It is at this level that there is wisdom or a lack of wisdom. It is at this level that there is power or a lack of power. There is at this level that there is wrong understanding or accurate understanding. And so the deeper illness of all illnesses at this level is here. And in a gross way that those illnesses manifest through what we call vices, arrogance and anger and jealousy and fear and anxiety, greed, attachments, dependencies, subservience. What else is there? Gossiping, talking badly, thinking badly about others, assuming things and seeing things that are not there or just the creation of your own ignorance, selfish desires and wants, laziness is another illness. Have you seen laziness? Do you see it as an illness? But it is the illness of the being, illness of the soul, lack of enthusiasm, lack of creativity. Those are all inner illnesses. And we will try to compensate this through all kinds of funny behaviors here, which are against the manual. If there is, for example, this, someone was saying, if there is maybe disillusionment and disappointment, or what, feeling lonely, all those type of deeper illnesses of the being, then we try to compensate that here at this level. Eating too much, drinking too much, being in a victim mindset in relationships, or in a beggar mindset in relationships, or using food to feel some kind of fullness and contentment, and then the body just swells and swells and swells. It is at this level that all illness starts, and that then sooner or later gets projected here in different forms, in different manifestations. So the medicine for that is to first of all restore our wisdom, to first of all come in light. Light means clarity. Wake up to the truth and the potential of the being that we are. Stop, for example, stop waste. Sorry, this we have to throw out. Stop waste thinking. No, lack of power or feeling weak is not because we don't have power, but it is because we waste our power. We waste our mental power by wasteful thinking, by wasteful thoughts. No, anyone here doesn't have wasteful thoughts? Simple example of wasteful thoughts is repeatedly thinking the same thing over and over and over again. And it can be something silly, like I need to buy bread. I need to buy bread. I shouldn't forget to buy bread. Repeatedly thinking the cyclical same thing. Or I hate my boss. I hate my boss. I don't like my boss. I don't like my work. Why should I go to work again? Oh gosh, it is Monday again. I wish it was Friday. This type of thinking, it just drains our energy. Waste. So that is the illness at this level. How do you stop that? Give your mind something useful to think about. Give your mind something elevated to think about. Give your mind something constructive to think about. This is how we, heal ourselves at this level. Meditation is another way to reinforce a spiritual perspective on self, to begin to understand ourselves as spiritual being in itself is part of medicine, spiritual medicine. Not to realize that I am not just this, but that I'm actually this invisible traveler, this invisible guest in this body, in this world. A being of consciousness with innately divine potential. Innately, we are beings of peace. We are beings of love. We are beings of wisdom. We are beings of power. We are beings of love. We are beings who are free and secure, timeless beings. When we wake up to this awareness, this is medicine. When we begin to explore these more refined feelings of peace that comes from this soul awareness, that is medicine. Then we don't try and search for peace here by earning money and then wasting our physical, draining our physical energy, and then using that money in a, wasteful way. And you don't have to be rich to waste your money. Anytime you use money to buy something you don't really need is waste. Sometimes here in New York, there is the big habit to have a kitchen only for show. So in the apartment, they have nice small kitchen, but it is only for show. Nobody uses the kitchen. You know why? Because they buy everything outside, even coffee or tea. Now, if you make your coffee yourself or your tea or whatever it is that you drink in the morning, if you make it yourself or if you buy it outside, one time you can buy, 2 times, but every day, is that accurate use of resources? Self-sufficiency, self-control, being independent, these are noble strivings, and it's a sign of health. So the spiritual medicine, the first spiritual medicine is to become aware again of all of this. Feed yourself with spiritual understandings, with wisdom, to see the deeper truth of who you are and what life is all about, what the rules and the laws of life are. Another part of that spiritual medicine is the practice of meditation, where you learn, where you use your wisdom to focus your mind, to stay with one thought or with one topic, and not jump all over the place from here to there, from here to there, from this to that, to food, to tomorrow, to boss, to work, to my bed and my television and the soap opera. And why, if we use our mind for these millions of nonsense thoughts, why will this mind serve us? We have this beautiful and this powerful instrument called mind, but we need to use it in a way that is benevolent, according to its manual. So meditation is about choosing one topic, one noble theme, or one constructive theme, or a positive theme, and hold that in your mind and stay with those thoughts and those feelings for a longer period of time, instead of jumping here, there, all over the place, exhausting, and you ultimately end up doing nothing. Waste of time, waste of mental energy. And that makes us weak. It's not that there is no power. We have power, but we waste it. It is not that we don't have potential. Even body has tremendous potential. But we waste it by all these useless emotions and these useless thoughts and these useless actions. Illness is at that level. But we don't recognize. Even the doctor doesn't recognize. Okay. This is just what is it? An introduction into this theme. Of course, it requires much more expansion and churning of this. But if you want to explore this more, we would definitely invite you to follow up with some of the courses and the deeper classes on these topics. But you have any questions so far? If not, then maybe we should have some meditation together. Okay. So keep the body comfortable. One moment, Jose. There cannot be music, otherwise streaming, yeah. And just allow the body to take a deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And just become aware of this movement, of the air being pulled into the lungs on inhalation and the air pushed out of the lungs on exhalation. Become aware of the position of the body, back straight, feet touching the ground. Relax the shoulders and just be aware of the bodily sensations. And with a sense of appreciation and gratitude, this body is such a precious vehicle. Relax the muscles of the shoulders and the neck and the muscles of the face. And create this clarity that there is consciousness. That the real self is the one who is operating this body, a being of consciousness, an experiencer, invisible, as if sitting behind the eyes, using the eyes to see. And we use the image of a tiny star, living light, to indicate the real self. A being of light, a being of peace, timeless, immortal, free, pure, innocent, living light. The soul. The real self. And just hold in your mind the image of this tiny star, a living being but not physical. Body is the vehicle, like a car. But the living being who operates this car is a being of light, invisible to the human eye. Pure, peaceful, timeless, innocent, clean being of light. And all these habits and tendencies and thoughts by which we sometimes feel compelled and subservient to, that is illness. It has as if crept into the being under ignorance. And we have adopted all these funny ideas and habits, started to believe we are this body, mortal. That is illness of the soul. Come into light. Allow the awareness that we are spiritual beings, invisible observers, tiny stars, living conscient light. Visiting this physical dimension. And just hold in the mind this image of this living light, serene, pure, silent, light. Coming back to this awareness again and again. It's like healing the soul, waking up from unconsciousness. And let us aim to hold this awareness. Even if this lecture finishes, this meditation exercise finishes, let us aim to hold this awareness and stay with it. Even though we use the body for all kinds of activities, let us infuse everything with these refined feelings and these higher thoughts. With the energy of soul consciousness. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Om Shanti, sister.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
session today.
Thank you.
Shanti. Thank you.
Good evening.